What have you learnt about technologies from the process of constructing this product? When I started this course, I wasn't familiar with any of the softwares and barely had any basics of understanding, even though I did GCSE ICT. So I learnt a great deal about the technologies I've used during the process of creating my magazine. My cover was created using Adobe InDesign. This is where I manipulated fonts, images and a diverse range of shades. I use it from InDesign, Scratchpunk and 28 Days Later, as this website offered unique fonts which allowed me to create generic conventions such as my masthead and various other cover lines. The changing of colours allowed me to create connotations of metal/rock, as the colours I chose were bold, loud and aggressive. When creating my double page spread and contents page, I use Adobe InDesign. I use the page setup to choose my dimensions, set up the gutter up and set up my columns. Once my page was set up, I was then able to create both my double page spread and contents page. It was a similar process to making my cover, but I was helped a lot by the layout. The columns helped me insert my article so it looked professional, much like the existing music magazine. It also allowed me to adjust my images to the right scale and fit it between the columns. InDesign was similar to Photoshop, but it is processing software, whereas Photoshop is for editing pictures. Although InDesign was difficult to use at times, my previous experience with the software helped me when creating my music magazine. Finally, all my videos were created using Windows Movie Maker. This software allowed me to create videos for my appendices before my courseware. I had never used this software before, but before I knew it, I was fairly confident with the software and I was able to create videos easier. By the time I created my final product, I was very able to familiar with these pieces of software, and I learnt lots about them too. My skills and competence has both improved. Also, during the process of constructing my product, I used a lot of web apps to help me create the best product possible. I wasn't familiar with any of these apps, but they were all pretty easy to get the grip of. One of the most frequent web apps I use is WordPress. This is my online blog, which I added posts to on a regular basis. I use the blog to show my development as I constructed my product. I also use it to upload screenshots, appendices, videos, presentations and many more coursework related pieces of work. Another web app I used was Bubblers.us. This web application allowed me to create spider diagrams, which was great for brainstorming ideas and writing down notes into diagrams. I only used this application a couple of times though. Prezi and ServiceMonkey both played a massive part in my construction of my media products. Not as big as WordPress though. Prezi helped me to create online presentations to live my initial ideas during Appendix 6. It was fairly simple to construct and edit, but because it was interactive, this allowed me to demonstrate my ideas fluently to make them look appealing. SurveyMonkey played a big part during Appendix 7. This is where I asked my peers where they thought initial ideas for my appendixes and my Prezi presentation. Another piece of technology I wasn't familiar with was the Canon EOS 600D DSLR camera, which I used to take the photos of my models mined in separation. The camera itself was rather difficult to use. Of the vast number of settings it actually took me 2 attempts to get the photos I was after. The second time I had a better idea to use the camera and I was able to take far better images, although I find it initially difficult to use. Once I had a few attempts at using it, I found it far easier to use. The DSLR camera was very important for bringing my magazine to life and creating representations in terms of my genre. The images allowed me to represent my models mined in separation in a stereotypical way the genre would, and also create a host for different